Her new record is out now. It is called The Art of Loving. And she joins you right now to chat about it here on Triple J. Olivia Dean, welcome back.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Talk to me, be the man that I need, baby.
Thank you so much for being with us. And up the top here, I actually want to play you a little grab, Olivia, of a conversation that you had one of the last times you were on Triple J, backstage at Laneway Festival. And one of the presenters, Ash, asked, about some of the new songs that were going to be in your set.
Can you tell what's it called again?
Nice to each other.
Nice to each other.
Song, yeah.
Tell me about that track.
It's like very much still work in progress, but I really believe in trying stuff out live. I think it's a really good way to test how people feel about it, and I think it's really fun.
Yeah,
it's a sweet song. It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been good so far. People seem to be into it.
People seem to be into it, and yet they seem to be connecting with it. And then hundreds of millions of streams later, what's it like to you knowing that you kind of were testing that material only in February and now so many people have connected with it?
It's honestly crazy to think how much can happen in such a short space of time. Like that trip we had in Australia this year was my favorite tour I've ever been on. I just had the best time, and to think that Nice to Each Other wasn't even recorded then is just mental. So yeah, I'm feeling just very grateful for the journey. But yeah, Australia, you were the start of the Nice to Each Other journey for sure.
So good. And that's it, right? Because you were kind of road testing it and then you went into the album making process. What did you take from that tour, from that Australian visit, that reception, into this album making?
I think that time we were when we were in Australia was really important to the album making process. I think it was my last like chunk of touring and live performance, and I was able to just take that joy and like bring it into the studio and think about what I thought audiences would like and like to dance to and like to feel when I go back on the road. So yeah, I think that tour was like the perfect little send off into studio mode for me.
And a studio where you wanted to prioritize fun in the entire process. What was the turning point? Why did something go down where you went, nah, I need to strip it all back and just go back to bare basics of having fun and what brings me joy?
Yeah, I think that I had written a few songs like, Nice to Each Other and things that I really liked. But overall, I wasn't hearing myself in the music I was making. And I felt like I just wanted to go deeper and just really connect to what it was that I'm actually trying to say. And I think that could only have been done at home in East London and in my own space that I'd curated for myself. So I think it was the right thing to do for me. But I think I just wanted to hear myself in the music, really and truly.
Yeah. And that was really what led you to The Art of Loving. Even as a concept, this was inspired by various mixed media, a book, an art exhibition. Can you kind of give us a brief timeline of how you landed on this concept alongside the fun?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've always been a fan of Bell Hooks's work as an author and just amazing human. I'm so inspired by the way she talks, and especially the way she talks about love. Like it's, a skill or an instrument or something that you can get better at and you can craft in your life. And yeah, I was in America actually, and I had just finished reading the book, and I'd gone to an exhibition that happened to be in response to the book. And then I was like, what would it be like to make some music in response to both of those things? So I kind of treated it as a case study. I was like, okay, The Art of Loving is my title, and what will I discover about it in the next 8 weeks? And whatever I discovered, that will be the album, and that will be what I'll, share with the world.
So what did you discover?
So much, honestly. I learned so much about myself in the process. I was healing from heartbreak and looking about pouring into my female friendships and all the other areas that love can exist in life. And really, it just solidified for me, which what I think is the main takeaway from the book is that really loving somebody, I think, is just wanting to nurture them and see them grow and want them to win. And yeah, just being honest. So I feel like I've got so much love in my life now because of this album, and hopefully it's felt by everybody.
I also love the way you explore this on the record. You know, you've talked about how love is a practice. It's something that you need to work on. But I think I like how you've taken it into a space where love is an ecosystem. It's almost this part of nature where you need to water it, you need to give it a bit of space, you need to cut it back so then it can grow a little bit more. And it might feel kind of shit to cut it back, but you've got to, you know, let it do that maybe in order to bloom. Is that something that you consciously thought about when you were writing the record, that kind of nature element that seems to make its way into your music?
Absolutely. I'm somebody who loves nature, and I think that love is such a natural thing rather than a fantasy thing that, some people don't even believe in it, which is crazy. How can you not believe in it? It's real. And yeah, I think I just wanted the listener to kind of go on that journey and fall in and out with me and heal and break and heal, because it's never straightforward, love. It's like always ever changing and unpredictable. So yeah, that's such a beautiful way to put it. It does feel very natural in this album.
And it's so lush and intimate. And that's not a mistake. That's not by accident. This is by design. Like you said, you went back to East London and you made a home out of this recording process. How did you prioritize that, from the environment to the people? What did that setup look like?
So yeah, we were able to rent this house for 8 weeks, beautiful house, and bring in my piano from my house. And I brought in photos, frames from my house, and my own mugs and my slippers. So those home comforts, but also my band that I tour with, they came in, did a couple days in the studio, and everybody that I'd worked with before on the first one, I kind of invited some people back, and it just felt very like communal and a gathering of people in a moment in time. I really feel like we captured a moment in time. And yeah, I just think I've cracked code on how to make an album that way. It was just warm. Yeah.
So hang on, are we then getting the string arrangements and orchestral arrangements into that space as well, or was that external?
Well, listen. So I tried. I said, we'll get the orchestra in here.
Squeeze them
Everyone
in.
said, they will not fit and it won't sound right. So the strings and the brass we had to record separately for purely for sound purposes. But you can imagine they're in the house.
Yeah, exactly. I want them all rugged up just with you. And warm was a priority, right? I heard that you had a
Yes.
whiteboard and warm was at the very top. How does that manifest for you? You know, and when you think about this record, is it a warm hug? Is it a warm cup of tea? Is it a warm smile? What
It's
is
a
warm to
heated
you?
blanket.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
I just think, yeah, I feel like I wanted people to feel held and understood by this album, and for it to feel like something that maybe you could return to in the future if you're going through a breakup, or you're falling in love. In the way that I return to my favorite albums when I need them in my life. And yeah, so Warm was at the top of the whiteboard, and the whole way through the process, whenever I was saying, is this finished? I was like, is it warm? Does this feel warm enough? And I think that was a really good reference word for me to help me complete the process.
Yeah. What are some of those records that you return to in those moments?
I mean, the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill
Mm-hmm.
saved me many times. Amy, I love the Lioness Hidden Treasures album, the posthumous one. I think that's just an incredible collection of songs. Carole King, Tapestry. I love listening to that in the car and singing along. Um, I'd say those are my top three. Anything Aretha Franklin greatest hits, anything. Billie Holiday, I also love. Yeah, I love female vocalists and I love storytellers.
And even referencing those vocalists, I feel like you have this classic sound, but what I really appreciate about this record is that you tap into modern dating. And as someone who has been in the shackles of modern dating, I really appreciated that.
I'm with you, sis.
You know, I particularly a couple of lyrics. So in Close Up, how can you get close to someone you keep out of reach? And in Let Alone the One You Love, there's this moment of frustration. You say you're all the same, you know.
Mm.
How did you want to kind of approach modern dating, but in a timeless way on this record?
I think it's just about being honest about the situations that you find yourself in and still handling things with care and not being mean about anybody or cutting or, it's about being understanding. Everybody's coming at something from a different perspective. But yeah, I did want to touch on the state of affairs because, not only just for myself, but seeing the people around me, like, guys, we need to get a handle on this
Yes.
because I feel like people aren't falling in love and they're just treating each other like these disposable items that there'll always be a next one tomorrow. And how about no, we're all people and let's get back to like actually falling in love with each other rather than whatever the hell it is we're doing now.
100%. I think you sum it up in one lyric as well. It's one of my favorites. You say, who would do that to a friend, let alone the one you love? You know?
I mean,
And
yeah.
And I think that also applies to ourselves as well, right? I think sometimes the way that we speak to ourselves, even you think, I would never speak to a friend in this way, and yet that is my inner monologue. How did you want to
Exactly.
explore self-love on this record?
I think self-love perhaps is the more important takeaway from this album rather than romantic love, or maybe just as important. I think I've always been such a firm believer in if you are wanting to have love and give love in your life, you must be giving it to yourself, you know? And yeah, I just think it's a really important takeaway to take away from this album. And yeah, I hope that people find love for themselves in it.
100%. Olivia Dean, you are coming our way very soon. In Australia, you are playing a one-off show in Sydney. I'm not even going to talk about it because it's sold out literally in minutes. That is happening in November alongside the ARIA Awards, and you're performing the Art of Loving Arena Tour in October 2026. How excited are you for these live shows? What can we expect? What are you bringing to the table?
I can't wait to come back to Australia. If you would have told me like last year or 2 years ago that I'd be going to Australia twice in 1 year, I said, what do you mean? It's such a treat. And I just can't wait to see everybody again and play the shows. You guys are such a great crowd. And yeah, to be playing arenas somewhere so far away from home is not lost on me how amazing it is. So I really hope everyone has a good time. And yeah, I can't wait.
It's going to be an arena, but it's going to be that intimate, warm, cozy space. I can just feel it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's not, don't worry, I'm not going to be flying in the sky. It's going to be,
It's going to be
gonna
weighted
be
blankets
music.
all around.
Yeah, it's going to be music and storytelling and love and singing and dancing. And yeah, there's no fire.
Perfect. And my final question, Olivia, I know you've been watching Sex and the City.
Yes.
What Sex and the City character do you think needs this album the most?
Oh, brilliant question. Oh, I think Carrie needs it because she's still hung up on Big and it's like, girl, give it a rest. He's no good for you. So I think if Carrie had this album, perhaps she would have come to her senses.
100%. I also think Steve a little bit.
Oh, Steve Miranda.
Miranda.
Yeah, maybe Steve.
Olivia Dean, thank you so much for talking us through this new record, The Art of Loving. It is out right now. Thank you so much.
See you in November. I can't wait to.